I'm sure at least one of these videos is gonna make you rethink all of your life.
How much money do you make in a day? I don't calculate money by day. I calculate money by hour.
Yeah, there's only two ways to get paid: salary or hourly. Okay, and you have the hourly one. You're not you didn't come up with something special about how you calculate your money. He's like, brother, I don't calculate my money per day. I calculate my money per hour. Yeah, you and everybody else. You and everybody else. I calculate my money by milliseconds. I'm kicking your butt, dude. I'm kicking it. I'm getting paid per millisecond, and because I'm manipulating time, I'm getting paid more than this hour. Too much Johnny Walker once again. Get him out of the war room. Get him out of the war room and get him into the day spot.
Every single Luke Belmar video is so funny because this guy just speaks nonsense. But to be honest, some of the stuff he says is actually pretty powerful. Think of it like this. It's the graph like this, right? You ever seen this graph where you have dumb people here and very smart people here, but then you have the average majority people all in the middle? Luke Belmar has become so smart to the point that he sounds very dumb. But some of the stuff that he says is actually very smart, but it sounds so dumb. And that's the place that he reached.
So when you read words, words are symbols. They're letters to express what? A thought. Thoughts are energy. So what you're doing when you're reading a book is you are extracting the thought and the energy of the author. I would be a fool to not consume it.
Holy shit, dude. Luke Belmar just invented reading. How do you think he studied? Reading. Study reading. You aren't reading. You're extracting thoughts from the author. You aren't breathing. You're merely extracting oxygen. Books are just podcasts for your retinas. You see, you read words. Words are what? Symbols. Symbols of what? Letters. Letters are what? The alphabet. You want to be an alpha? Bet. You got to buy the course by now. It's time to monopolize the thought business and corner the market with my Metaplex Mind Palace of books built on Solana. See, what I can do is I can use their suite of tools to make each individual thought an NFT. And every time an author's thoughts are resold, I make royalties, passive brain income. Every time somebody reads your thoughts, you're getting brain. Every time he reads a book, he's giving brain to the author. Why not monetize that? Before you know it, your thoughts are having thoughts of their own. If you can generate 10 thoughts before 30, now your thoughts are having thoughts, and your thoughts can sell those thoughts. And now your thoughts are getting, because now your thoughts have thoughts. Passive brain income.
And the funny part is that he truly believes that what he's saying is like mind blowing. And the people that are listening to it, they're like, dang, this is mind blowing. But then when you actually just look at it for what it is, it's like, it's pure nonsense. But in reality, pure nonsense is genius.
We prioritize aura above everything else. Like, if you can make some money but lose some aura, never do that shit. If you're playing the long game in life, just put aura at the center of everything. And everything you do, ask yourself, will this negatively or positively impact my aura? And you think about the compounding returns.
People look at me and say, like, who is this guy? I look like I'm going to hurt somebody. I don't look like I walk into a place and I'm just coming to have a good time, or I'm coming to eat lunch. When I walk in, it's like I'm literally going to hurt somebody.
The first time I ever went over to the moon, at that point, I'd only ever remote viewed on planet. I never even thought of going off planet to remote view. But then this Pleiadian being came into my room and said, there's a meeting in 2 days' time, and I want to take you to this meeting. And I said, okay, like, I'm down. And I followed him with my astral body. Okay, where are we going? And so we're like, literally, he's traveling off planet, off planet, off planet. I'm like, oh my God, we're leaving the planet? This is even possible?
Should we use air conditioner in the summer? Ideally not. You can do simple tips like grabbing a piece of cabbage, like a leaf of cabbage, putting it on your head with the hat. That will automatically cool your head. You can grab wrapped cold water, like a cloth, rinse it out, put it on your head, put it on your neck.
So what I'm telling you is when that helicopter goes up to 20,000 feet and it's sitting there hovering for 4 hours, not only does it have to spin 1,000 miles an hour, it has to spin more than 1,000 miles an hour to go back to the same spot that it landed.
I remember this one time I went on a podcast, and then the guy was asking me, he asked me some random question. Like, I don't even remember what the question was. And the first thing I said was like, hold on a minute. I mean, what are thoughts? And looking back at it, I'm like, that has nothing to do with the question. When you're on a podcast, you're going to be saying some dumb stuff, bro.
If you could train your brain to think ahead of your environment, to imagine a future that hasn't happened yet, and make it so real in your mind that your body begins to respond to it as if it's already real, how much power would you have to change your life? Let me tell you something. Your brain doesn't know the difference between a real-life event and what you're vividly imagining. And that one simple truth can transform your life. Today, I want to teach you how to trick your brain into creating a future of unlimited success. Let's start with something most people understand: repetition. Think about a musician learning a new piece of music, or an athlete
likely
practicing
AI,
a
but
skill.
still helpful.
What do? They repeat it over and over. That repetition wires circuits in the brain. Over time, it becomes easier, more natural, more automatic. This is what we call physical rehearsal. The beauty of physical rehearsal is that it transforms the unfamiliar into the familiar.
This was really powerful.
When you pick up a guitar for the first time, it feels awkward. Your fingers don't know where to go. But after weeks, months, or years of practice, you don't even have to think about it. Your hands instinctively know the notes. This is how the brain works. It thrives on repetition. But here's the thing. Physical practice alone isn't enough to reach extraordinary levels of success. It's the first step. But what separates the good from the great, the average from the exceptional, is something far more powerful. Mental rehearsal. The greatest athletes, musicians, actors, they don't just practice physically. They also practice mentally. Before they ever step onto the field, the stage, or the court, they sit down and rehearse the act in their mind. They imagine every move, every note, every step in vivid detail. Why? Because science tells us that when you mentally rehearse an action, your brain can't tell the difference between what's happening in the real world and what you're vividly imagining. To the brain, both are the same. When you rehearse, you're installing neurological hardware. It's like planting seeds in a garden. The more you rehearse, the stronger those circuits become, and your brain begins to think, I've already done this before.
By the way, I've done this multiple times, because I play chess, right? And I remember at times when before I would fall asleep, I would think of chess openings, and then I'm like, what's the best thing to do in that specific chess scenario? And what would happen is that when I do play chess in real life in the physical world, I would see those exact same positions, and I would know what to do because I've seen this before. And it's crazy because me seeing it in my mind as I'm about to go to sleep, my mind is thinking, like it's squeezing. What's the next step? What's the next move? And what is this going to be leading into? And what is this move going to be leading into? And as a result, I would literally become better and better at chess in real time as I'm falling asleep. And you can do this for anything. You should be doing this for everything, actually. Everything. If you have a business right now, or you're learning a skill, for example, you're learning copywriting, or even you're doing crypto, you're doing trading, and you're doing meme coins, or you're doing Solana, or whatever. The more you keep thinking about it as you're falling asleep, and you're improving yourself more and more as you're falling asleep, you'll notice that when you wake up and you're actually doing the physical thing, it becomes a lot easier. And that's a key. Every great person has done this. Like, you really think Messi doesn't go to sleep thinking about kicking the ball, or Ronaldo doesn't go to sleep and not think about dribbling? They're all thinking of this stuff. Always, all the time.
Quit my job legit 2 days ago. I came up here, took a risk. I'm originally from Ohio.
Did you sneak up here?
No, I didn't sneak in here. I didn't sneak. What do you mean sneak up?
Like on stage? Or you just like?
Yes, I did.
It's one of the sneak videos.
I'm sorry. I just.
Did you print the ticket and stuff?
No, like I just needed to talk to you. I'm trying to talk to your brother. I'm trying to talk about business. Trying to get a job. Like I want to do media. I've been trying to get.
What are you good at?
I was 70 dances. I did like
What's
that. I did that video. You know, like going like that. Yeah, you know.
Oh, so you really got what it takes.
I don't.
Then why would I
need a mentor.
Well, why would I do that?
I want to be like. I'm 22 years old. I'm just trying.
I bet I can't be a mentor right now, right? In my life, I'm a fuck up myself. I need a mentor. You know what I'm saying? Like I need
connections and you need people be around you, right?
No, I didn't have connections and people around. I have Jake. That's it. Do you have a brother? Do you have people? Friends?
I don't.
Friends? You got friends. You got amigos.
I don't.
You don't have friends?
I don't. I swear to God. I'm here by myself.
Where are you from?
I'm from Norwalk, Ohio.
You're a good-looking guy, bro. You have friends, bro. You're fucking lying. You have friends. Go make content. Do stuff with your friends. I'm glad you quit your job. It takes balls to do that, bro. But like now you gotta act.
Try to make a step.
I'm not. Media. But I'm not the guy directly. Right?
You're the guy.
No,
you're the guy.
No, bro. My team is this. Relax, bro. Relax. I'm not the guy. Like life isn't about handouts. You know what I'm saying?
I know. I'm
not
trying to get a handout. I'm not trying to get a handout.
What are you trying to do?
I'm trying to work hard for a little money. No money. I don't know. I can get a job somewhere else. All I want to move to LA and I want to be able to be part of that.
Look, I have to go. If you really are serious about it, bro,
serious.
you should move to LA and just like you approached me, start making connections with every single person
I will.
in LA. I'm serious. That's
I will.
it. I've always said this. If you're charismatic and you can talk to someone, you can make it in LA.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's my advice.
First of all, what's this whole thing about LA, bro? People think that LA is the thing that people have to go to so they can become big. What even is that, man? I don't even know. But hold on a minute. You see, every time I told you guys, like when you have this energy of begging, like you could tell this guy is begging. He's not saying please, 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 but in his own words, in his energy, this guy is just begging for Logan Paul to give him a job. And I remember I was watching this video and everybody was like, man, Logan Paul is such a heartless man. This kid said all the wrong things. Nobody likes a pity party. It literally came with nothing to offer. I get messages from people who are like, bro, I have nothing. I don't know what to do. Help me make $10,000 or something. Help me make $100,000. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, what the heck? You're just coming up to me saying, help me do this with nothing. Now, I'm not asking you to come and give something. I'm just asking, like, I'm just telling you, if you're going to come with nothing to offer, nothing, like this guy's just coming, nothing to offer, not a single thing to offer. He's just like, I came here, quit my job. I came all the way, have no friends, blah, 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 blah. And now I'm just asking for a job because I'm a hard worker. Nobody cares, bro. Nobody cares. And that's the thing. This guy was saying it's all about your aura and people are making fun of him because he's a grown man. I forgot what his name was. It actually is all about your aura. Because if you don't have a proper energy, if your energy is not proper while talking to people, they'll notice that you're someone that has nothing. And then they wouldn't want to be even around you.
What's this? شنو هاي طيب? هاي شنو?
Hi, Shunu.
Someone tell Harris J to get his qalb out of Medina.
This guy's Iraqi?
قلبي في المدينة. Get your qalb out of Medina. What are you doing? By the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's masjid, by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's grave, you're free mixing and making music.
He's like, hi, Shunu.
You're making a music video by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's masjid في رمضان. حرام عليك.
Alright, anyway, bro. I'm pretty sure you guys have seen this so many times. That song is so annoying. That song's so annoying.
But there's a missing element to that, which is why so many people haven't succeeded.
Well, and maybe this is it. Isn't it true? Many people using the law of attraction and try to attract a new car or more money failed. How do you explain
It is
that?
true. You know, people that were in The Secret and talked about the law of attraction, they've been on the Oprah show. They were on Larry King. And both Oprah and Larry King mentioned a lot of people bought The Secret, tried to apply the law of attraction, and unfortunately miserably failed. They didn't attract
Why?
the new car. They didn't attract the better
Why
job.
they failed?
They didn't attract the better career. They didn't
But
attract
why?
the big home. They didn't attract money to pay off their bills. They didn't attract a relationship
Shaking my head.
that they so
Telling me
desperately
it's not
wanted.
all about
And they got very
positivity.
frustrated. But the fact is, there's a missing ingredient.
What is it?
What's that?
Well, if you go back to where this started, Andrew Carnegie, at the turn of the century, was the richest man in the world. He owned U.S. Steel. And he hired a guy by the name of Napoleon Hill to study the rich
fake story,
people
by the
in the
way.
world, including Henry Ford,
It's a fake story,
Thomas
bro.
Edison, Firestone, J.P. Morgan, all the super wealthy, and write a book about what is the secret. Well, he wrote a book in 1926 called The Law of Success in 16 Lessons. Henry Ford
I've
saw
read
it,
that.
went crazy. Basically said, we don't want people to know the truth. They got it pulled off the market. He edited it out, and now the watered down version came out. And then the
think I've read the watered
even
down
more
version.
watered down version was Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah, I remember that.
Right. That was so watered down. So people bought that in the millions, and a very small percentage actually found it to cause them to be successful. There's a missing element.
What is it?
Now, what happened with me is I've used
guy
this in my
talk too
life,
much.
and I've been incredibly successful. I've taught it to some very close friends. One particular gentleman in Portland, Maine, I taught the technique to. He went from working at UPS to, in 2 years, having a $150 million a year company. I taught it to a guy in Massachusetts. He was working in a pizza parlor, living in a one-bedroom apartment, sleeping on a mattress, a blow-up mattress on the floor. And 2 years later, had over a $200 million company. $200 million in 2 years, working at a pizza joint. I taught it to a lawyer
Bruh.
in Maryville, Indiana, who
This
was
guy's good
working
at
in a little
copywriting.
tiny one-man law,
why I say
law
learn
firm.
the skill.
Doing well, but a little tiny one-man law firm. I taught him this, and a few years later, hundreds of millions of dollars in a business. So I've taught it to some people all across the world that have went from zero to hundreds of millions. Now, that's just money. But what occurred was, people said, Kevin, you need to write a book or do an audio cassette program or a seminar. I said, look, I'm not Tony Robbins. You know, and I'm not going to be running around. Nothing wrong with that guy, but you know, there's guys like Brian Tracy, who's a friend of mine, who does a brilliant
really
job. Zig Ziglar for years was a motivational speaker. One of my mentors, Ed Foreman, Executive Development Systems of Dallas. These are great motivational speakers. I said, that's not me. You know, I'm actually doing business. I'm not selling courses on how to get rich. I'm actually getting rich. But I was convinced, because so many people came to me and said, we want to know what you know, because you obviously know something that these gurus don't.
Well, what was the missing link? I mean, I still don't.
Well, let me finish the story here. So what happened was a couple of years ago.
He has to finish
I
the story.
decided to teach some people that I needed people that was serious about wanting more out of their lives. People that either wanted a better relationship, wanted to find a lover, wanted to get into a husband or a wife situation or a romantic relationship, wanted a nicer car, wanted riches, wanted something in their life, but they didn't have it. So I said, okay, fine. For 2 days, I'm going to teach a seminar. First one I've ever done in my life. And I'm going to reveal secrets that I learned from the Brotherhood, from the organization I was a part of, that I was sworn to secrecy, kind of the missing secret ingredients to the law of attraction. So I held this in the Alps in Europe, figuring that it would cost a lot to get there. And I charged $10,000 per person. So a bunch of people came. And for 2 days, I taught them the secrets of how to have, be, or do whatever they wanted. And I entitled the lecture, or the workshop, Your Wish is Your Command, how to manifest your desires. It's virtually, I wanted to teach people how to have their own Aladdin's lamp. They could rub it and a genie would come out that would grant any wish they wanted. That sounds too good to be true, and it's great. But I said $10,000. I said, if you're not thrilled, after 3 months, I'll give you your money back. So a bunch of people came. I said, you be the judge. So now, that's a pretty strong offer, because if you paid 10 grand plus an extra couple thousand to go to Europe and the Alps for 2 days, and you got 90 days to say, was that worth it? You know, if it wasn't worth it, I'm getting it. Everyone's asking for their money back. So I taught them these secrets and I recorded it. 3 months later, I didn't get one single person ask for their money back. Every single person told me they felt like they were pre-programmed, or their brain was tuned to a different frequency, so that when they left, it was almost like magic. They were attracting into their life things, and they couldn't believe it. They felt miracles were happening, that they were lucky. One guy on the second day, he said, look, I have a Ferrari, I have a Rolls Royce, I fly around in private jets, I have money. I don't have a woman because I'm looking for a relationship. After day one, he went to a restaurant. The next day, he tells the story in the event. He said, I sat there by myself. This woman walks over to me and says, excuse me, are you sitting alone? He said, yes. She says, so am I. Oh, you're American. He says, yes. She goes, do you mind if I have dinner with you? He said, she lives 2 miles from where I live in America. He said, I thought you had set this up. He goes, and I'm thinking, wait a minute here. Kevin sent this woman over. This can't be real. Of course, it was real. But that's the type of magic that can happen that fast. So I put this together in the series, Your Wish is Your Command.
Now listen, this doesn't mean that you're going to be going on Your Wish is Your Command and you're going to buy the product, obviously, right? Right? Because the whole point of this is, one, for you to understand how do you even sell a product. You watch this whole video right now, from beginning to end, memorize it, change up the words, add your own product, your own story, and you can sell any product. The point is that this guy is a master speaker and a master copywriter. That's the first thing. The second thing, understand that these things are actually real. Like, the very first thing I was thinking of right now, I'm like, if I paid 10K and I went on a trip for Alpes, whatever that is, in Europe, a bunch of my friends are just going to be like, bro, you got scammed. Bro, this is just a scam. This guy's not going to teach you anything. He's not going to teach you how to rub your magic genie lamp and then whatever you want is going to happen. That's not even true. But in reality, it is. How can it not be? This whole channel I have right now, I'm talking to you about all these things, how to do all these things. And these things are a reality. And that's why I keep talking about it, because I've experienced it in my own life. And it's beautiful. When you truly see it, you're like, dang, bro, this is some beautiful stuff, beautiful power that Allah has given the human being. I feel like if last Ramadan I was actually in Medina the whole time, right? Alhamdulillah, I was in Medina in Ramadan. But I feel like if I was in Medina this Ramadan, which passed, it finished, oh my god, I keep saying these things, and this is, bro, just what the heck are you doing, bro? What are you doing, man? Oh my god.
In order to manifest something, you have to be uncomfortable with your current position. There has to be something that is driving you to change, or driving you to manifest something that you don't currently have. You can't wish, because wishful thinking doesn't relate to anything. You can't want something, because that's putting out the feeling of lack. And wanting means the universe is going to give you situations, events, conditions, circumstances, and people so that you're always wanting, never having. You have to need it. You have to need something. That is a burn. That need comes because of pain. And when you need something, you can't live in need, because then you'll never get it, because then the universe will always make sure you're feeling it need. But when you need something, that's when you can go and experience contrast. In other words, you know what you don't want, clearly, and it's giving you a burn, a feeling of pain. So now you need to change, you need something different. That's when you can clearly define what you do want, and then you focus on what you want, you see yourself in possession of it, and then you feel now as if you were actually in attainment of it. Then you release attachment to that outcome by saying, and it's okay if it never happens, while still maintaining that feeling as if you did actually happen. That's when the windows of heaven open and stuff starts coming in. You're broadcasting on a theta bandwidth if your hippocampus is big enough, and you've learned how to broadcast on theta, instead of broadcasting on the slave wave or the poverty wave of beta coming out of your brain.
If you've been watching Joe Dispenza's videos and you understand what theta brainwave means or what beta brainwave means, beta is when you're very alert to your physical environment. So beta is like right now, as I'm talking to you, when I start my videos, I'm usually in beta because I'm usually thinking, I'm like, what's the best way to speak? What's the best tonality? What's the first thing I should say? Is the camera good? Is my mic proper? Is this good? Like, you know what I mean? It's just looking at all these things in my environment, or I shouldn't make too much noise because it's gonna come in the mic and blah blah blah, and all these things. I forgot my AirPods. All these things, right? All these environmental, physical things. When you're in theta, think of it, it's the brainwave as you're almost about to fall asleep, or as soon as you wake up from sleep. As soon as you wake up from sleep, do you usually remember your problems in that moment when you first wake up? You don't really remember any problems. You don't even remember who you are. You're just awake and you're just being, and you're just like, almost like you don't even know what's happening in the world. And in that state, if you can maintain that state throughout the day, you'll notice that nothing can come and anger you, because nothing will come to make you reactive to your environment. Nothing will come, or no thought will come to your mind that's going to make you want something, because when you're in the theta state, you don't need anything. You don't want anything because you feel like you have everything, because everything is here, because your attention is not on the environment. Because when your attention is on the environment, on matter by definition is limited. So when you put your attention on matter, you've put your attention on the limited. So because it's on the limited, you think or you feel like there's nothing, like you want more, because your attention is on the limited. Do you understand what I mean? So what he's saying here is that this burning, almost like a burning desire in you, that's not a neediness, it's not a wanting, and it's not this needy feeling where it's like, if I don't have this, I'm done. It's just this, like, I felt this the other day actually when I woke up, and I was like, you know, I need to make $1 million. But in my head, I'm like, and if it doesn't happen, it's all good. But I need to go and do it. But if it doesn't happen, it's all good. But I don't feel like I really, really want it. And this $1 million is like all the way there and all the way here. I'm just like, I need to go do it. And what would happen is that thoughts come to my brain that would tell me what to do, what actions to take to go and do it. This is what this guy's talking about. Take your attention off the environment, off the matter, off the physical stuff, because all of it is limited. And just relax your brainwave. And if you don't know how to do that, you know how to do that. You sleep every single day, so you know how to do it. Pretend like you're about to go to sleep and just slow down your brainwave. Slow it down. And then when it slows down, you'll notice that there's no more anger. No more anger. No more desire even. No more wanting. No more regretting or feeling guilt. Just being. That's all it is. You're just being. And then from that state, go and do whatever you want. Literally, go and do whatever you want. And you'll see whatever you touch will turn into gold. That's the beauty of it.